So, setting yourself goals is a great way to get things done, both in life and in your photography. It gives you a clear target to aim for, and you can then set out the best path to achieve that goal. It's a tried and tested formula that works in many environments, and therefore ideal to implement to guarantee great shots with your camera, with minimal effort. So in this video, I want to break down the process of having an idea, setting a goal and achieving that goal. But first, of course, the one goal you should aim for in 2024 is to subscribe to my E6 subscription. That way you can see my on-location videos and read my photography e-guides on all sorts of photography subjects. Or your goal this year could be to enroll onto one of my online photography courses. Work your way through 10 assignments, each a goal on their own, designed to help make you the best photographer you can be. Or finally, your goal could be to book one of my photography workshops. We have a new one-day group workshop this year taking place in London. See my website for full details of all these opportunities and perhaps select one as your goal this year. Anyway, back to those other goals. Are goals actually pointless? Now, there are certain things that are just out of our control, things that happen that we cannot influence. The weather, for instance. Wanting to capture that amazing landscape view in the best light, only to never get that perfect light. Therefore, we shouldn't really set ourselves goals, should we? Because we can't always control the outcome. It's no good worrying or getting ourselves down about things that are out of our control. So maybe we should just forget about the goals, as they can just lead to disappointment. But if you do believe in setting yourself goals, and I think you should, think about them instead in a more practical way. Goals won't make you happy. But the trouble with having photography goals is that once you reach one goal, you won't automatically become a happier person, simply because you'll get a brief high from the achievement of one, and then just set yourself another goal to achieve, and so it goes on and on. Plus, of course, there's the risk that you'll just make yourself unhappy if you don't reach that goal in the first place. So you need to be careful not to fall into the trap of living your life being unhappy until you actually reach your photography goals, whatever they are. Therefore, forget the goal and enjoy the journey. So which is more important, the goal or the journey? Of course, the answer is the latter, and we shouldn't let the end goal, whatever that may be, override the importance of the journey. It's how you get there that you should be focusing on, not the destination. Focus on the process, the getting out there with your camera, and not the end result. It's okay to have a goal, a direction for your photography, but it's just as important to enjoy each stage of the process. Let these work together to give you that direction. So for instance, if you set yourself the 365 challenge to take one picture every day, the end goal would be to have a full set of images at the end of the year. But no, every day should be a goal. Every picture you take each day is on its own a small goal. Don't ignore that. So enjoy your photography as you progress and don't focus too much on that end goal. Now, I actually completed a long-term photography project where I took a picture of myself every single day for 2 days. Goals aren't about getting better. Now, one of the biggest mistakes photographers make is setting a goal with the aim of making themselves a better photographer, being better than you are now. But instead, think about the past you. Any goal you set should be for the here and now. Photography goals then should be about comparing yourself to how you were, how good or bad you were 6 months or a year ago, not 6 months or a year in the future. Compare yourself to now. How good a photographer are you now? You're probably a much better photographer than you were a year ago, so be pleased with that because it means you are achieving your goals right now. Recognise your progress by measuring it against your past self. So let's take a look at 4 ways to help you achieve your photography goals. This perhaps is the hardest question of them all then, And your goal here is to decide just what are you going to photograph. Is it a place, a subject, or is it even bigger than this? Is it a whole project you want to complete? You first need to be clear to yourself what the end goal is then. What is the image you want to capture? If it is just a single result, that should be simple. Have you seen an example of this view or subject already? Is this something you've had in mind to capture for a while? Is it something you've never captured before maybe? Perhaps you're returning to a location that you've been to before for a second attempt. That's a great approach. Each visit then will therefore have a slightly different approach to it. You'll have more knowledge about one visit more than the other, and so the planning will be different, but still very important. Make sure you're clear on what you want to capture then, rather than just leaving it for you to decide when you arrive. With no clear goal, you may just end up walking around not seeing the shot you want and then leaving frustrated that you didn't plan enough for the moment. It's an obvious point, but knowing what you want to shoot can easily become difficult to visualize without a clear goal. So the goal is firmly in your mind. You know what you're after, but that's just the beginning. This idea may be simple to capture, or it may take a lot of effort. So the next thing to ask yourself is when. When can this be done? What planning is involved? Is it just a case of heading out the door and getting the shot, or does this take lots of advanced planning ahead of the shoot to be completed? Does it need a set time maybe, perhaps just a set time of the day? Does it require a certain season, a certain time of the year? Is that achievable for you? And how will you plan for that? Will you have to travel? Will you have to spend time away from home, and if so, for how long? How much time will you need to commit to getting the perfect result? How much guarantee do you have of getting the picture in your time you've set aside? If you don't plan the when, you may end up at your location and realise it's just the wrong time. It might be a morning only shot and you arrive in the afternoon. It might be one to capture in autumn and you trundle up mid-spring and the sun's just in the wrong position. So know when. When is the right time for you and right for the picture? Try to get those two as synchronised as you can. Hopefully you now know what and you know when, but that doesn't mean everything will go to plan. In fact, plan for it not to. Within your planning, you need to factor in all the obvious obstacles, all the ones you know about, but also all the unknowns too. Will you need to buy or borrow some equipment to capture the shot, for example? What research do you need to do to get the shot? Will you need to save up to have the resources for travel? What if the weather doesn't play ball though? What if there is scaffolding all around your chosen subject? If it's your first visit somewhere, what if the location isn't as you'd expected? Do you have a plan B in place then? Always have a plan B. If your primary subject is unattainable or just not as good as expected, is there perhaps an alternative way to shoot it or an alternative subject to shoot there instead? Just so you don't go home empty-handed. No one wants that. This is often the most important aspect of any planning. Don't let the disappointment be the end of any potential result or goal. An alternative is better than nothing at all, and in fact may end up becoming a success on its own merit. Something you hadn't realised had so much potential. Have that plan B in place then. It's not wasted if it isn't used, but if required as an alternative option, you'll be so grateful for it. So with all your planning, with these previous 3 steps considered and put in place, the reward should be obvious. A picture, or more than one picture maybe, in the bag. The picture is taken and all the hard work is rewarded. But is that the end of it? For me, this would often just be the starting point. My pictures back in the day would usually have a further goal and would be used for publication on their own or as part of a set of images or article somewhere. This had to be taken into account in my planning then. What images had to be captured and how would they be used? As well as shooting a horizontal version, for instance, should I take one in the vertical format too, in case it's used on the front cover? That had to be planned for to add further goals to my plans. So what will you do with the result? Have you got big plans for it? Will it go on your wall at home perhaps? Will it be used in a book project? Is it to be submitted for a photo competition maybe? Will it be used and displayed in combination with some other images you already have? And if so, how will this new one fit in with that? Will it complete a set? How will you reward yourself for the achievement? A gear upgrade perhaps, or getting that new lens you've promised yourself. By all means reward yourself with a purchase, but using goals is a great way to make this the right time to buy. Where will this achievement take you next then? What's your next move? Are you already planning that next goal? So have a goal, know when you want to achieve that goal, and be aware of any obstacles involved so that you are fully prepared. Then enjoy the reward or make the reward into something bigger. Plan the next shot. Make it bigger next time, more adventurous, more challenging. Just give your result more reward than you first planned perhaps, as in, why not that book? Have goals, but plan them out to give your photography the best chance. A photography goal can be a very simple thing then, just like a life goal can be. So creating less stress in your life, for example, that's a goal. Any achievement is a goal. Therefore, make realistic goals that you can work with. Maybe make a goal to simply cut down on the amount of gear you have. Make your kit lighter, or limit yourself to getting great images with minimal kit. That's what I'm currently doing. As much as you can, live in the present and give it meaning by having a goal to work towards. But reevaluate the meaning of the term goal so it becomes an important yet relevant part of your photography process. So let me know your goals in the comments below. Writing them down may in fact be the first step to making that commitment.